the shadows he walks, with the truth to unveil, speaking raw wisdom through the storm and the gale. Every harsh word, a dagger that cuts, he'll slice through the silence, breaking the ruts. No sugarcoating, no softening the blow. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. Voices echoing darkness, where honesty dwells. Aaron drops knowledge, casting his spells. Feelings are fading, lost in the fray. If you can't handle it, step out of the way. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. So brace yourself tight, prepare for the quake. Aaron had to say it, the truth won't break. Yeah, the truth won't break.
I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. Yeah, I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. If you didn't get it from me, you'd hear it from some newsman instead. I may cuss and yell, but I know what I say is right. You know what, I will fucking yell, but I know what I say is right. So long as the world be fucking shit up, I'ma yell into this mic. Left or right, don't matter, I will call you on your shit. I said left or right, don't fucking matter, I will call you on your shit. If you're the side that fucking up, the gorilla's gonna deal with it. Yeah, I had to say it, or else it would go unsaid. Yeah, I had to fucking say it, or else it would just go unsaid. If you didn't hear it yelled at the top of my lungs, you got fed a crock of shit instead.
The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
It's Aaron, your favorite unfiltered mess. Spitting takes so raw, they'll make your grandma stress. Is this, that, and the other? Life, politics, the whole damn scene. Whatever crosses my mind, or whatever I saw on my screen. Ooh, movies to munchies, games to the grind. Interviews flowing, this is starting to sound like a date, ain't it? Dinner, drink, sports, wait, you buying? If not, tough luck, my opinion's still flying. No script, no filter, just pure chaos bliss. I might offend your auntie or your therapist. Society's clown show, yeah, I'm ringing the bell. If it's stupid, it's sacred, well, it had to be said, what the hell? Buckle up, buttercup, the mic's getting reckless. I had to say it. Now, pass the tissues for the trigger.
Yeah, and I still don't have the timing down on that one, do I? But what can you do? Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the Weather Soul Media Group, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey, to Boomer Bob, to George Fonts of the World Blaze Podcast, to Billy G, to Josh from New Hampshire, to Bill and Dana at Clockham Craft Coffee, and to Lisa. Thank you guys for your continued support. It means the world to me that you guys keep feeling the need to back me in this little endeavor. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got here. Now, I was originally, I was figuring that I would be a case of I was gonna talk about. I'm sorry, I've actually completely blanked on the broad's name at this point now. Lindsay something. This broad that's on trial for killing her 3 kids. Lindsay. I'm sorry. This is one of those things. This is where it's like if I'm going to throw the video version of this episode out, this is something where I should do some editing. But like I said, I don't remember how to do editing. Well, for video stuff at any rate, but. Anyway, point is, this broad, if you have been living under a rock, here's the Cliff Notes version. She strangled her 3 kids to death. And the way she did it, it took about 18 minutes to do it, which means 2 of the kids sat there and watched their mother murder their siblings before they were murdered themselves. Now, it should be a pretty open and shut case, you know, this fucking horrific bitch killed her kids and deserves to die for it. And if you don't agree with me on that, that's fine. That's your right as a human being to disagree with me. Just know I think you're a fucking retard if that's actually something you believe in this particular scenario. Now, this shouldn't be newsworthy or controversial or anything that's even worth talking about. Like I said, it's the most basic fundamental of principles. Because if you've been listening to the show for more than one episode, you know I feel that children are sacrosanct. They are the most vulnerable among us. They are the closest thing to decent human beings in the world for the most part. And they should be protected with vengeance and fury. And when the person whose job it is to protect these lives that they brought into the world fails them and kills them, and then subsequently, you know, she slit her wrists and jumped out a window after she strangled her 3 children with exercise bands after sending her husband out to the store with a list of errands that she knew how long he was going to be gone for, ensuring that he wasn't there to interfere with her horrific fucking actions. And then, so she slit her wrist, jumped out the window. She wound up fucking herself up and being paralyzed and not dying. Because apparently, according to, you know, what she's telling people, she was suicidal and she tried killing herself and blah, 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 blah. You know, and like I said, it should be an open and shut case. In a sane fucking world, this bitch would be given the express route to the fucking chair. She would not be a media attention. She would not be having all these vapid fucking cunts coming out of the woodwork defending her. There is an actual movement being fostered through social media of empty-headed bitches that are supporting this cunt, saying it's not her fault, saying it's, and they have made every excuse possible. There are people saying that it's postpartum, which is a real thing. I'm not trying to say postpartum doesn't happen. It's nothing I will ever be able to understand personally, because I am unable to birth a child because I am a male. I am a man. I do not have ovaries. I do not have a uterus. I will never birth a child. And I know postpartum is a thing. I know people that have suffered from it personally. And the thing is, none of them killed their fucking kids and then tried to use it as an excuse. And we live in this, society where it's ridiculous the lack of accountability anybody is willing to take. And this bitch tried saying, her defense is that she was hearing voices telling her to do it. Well, she had never heard their voices before or since, according to any, medical professional. She was never diagnosed with any kind of schizophrenia or psychosis. She was medicated to the tits, apparently, according to, the defenses. Well, she was on all these antipsychotics and antidepressants and all this stuff, the chemical cocktails, the reason why she did what she did. At the end of the day, none of that is an excuse for the fact that she killed her 3 children. She journaled how she felt that her toddler was the most insufferable human being she'd ever met. There was nothing maternal about her. She has no maternal instincts from what I can tell. And based on everything I've seen, read, and followed in the matter of this case, the bitch has shown precisely zero fucking remorse. No, there hasn't been any tears shed because she feels regret for what she's done. She hasn't been struck with the enormity of the fact that she ended the lives of her 3 children. She's, been seen taking pictures with her defense attorney, smiling and looking like, for all the joys in the world, she's talking to people about what she's going to do when she gets out of there. This worthless, degenerate sack of fuck human being is carrying on like nothing happened. And there have been, the forensic psychologist has flat out said that it doesn't seem like she's suffering from postpartum psychosis or anything else, that it's more that she's just kind of gave in to the intrusive thoughts. It's not that she heard voices telling her to do it. She just finally said, you know what, I can't stand these fucking kids anymore, and then killed them, and then jumped out a fucking window. And based on a lot of things I have said in the past, and having a bit of a working knowledge of, human anatomy and things like that, and I've said it before, a lot of times I don't believe that suicide attempts are serious. I think they're either done for attention or they're done because, in this particular case, I think it was being done as a cop-out because she jumped out of a window. I don't think she planned on fucking dying. I really don't. I think she thought she'd get hurt and it'd be a plausible cop-out because to everything I can tell, it looks like she's planned literally every other fucking aspect of this fucking homicide down to the fucking minute. And that's disgusting in and of itself. I mean, this bitch is a garbage human being. She has no business breathing the same air as decent human beings. And it disgusts me that these retarded cunts are out there defending her. And that's the whole problem. And really, at the end of the day, is the swell of support of these dumb bitches coming out of the woodwork. Women out there marching around with support Lindsay placards, carrying their own children like, oh, I totally understand. I've wanted to kill my kids so many times too. And bitches making these performative TikTok videos of themselves doing things to channel their rage from dealing with their kids, like throwing ice into a tub and screaming into a pillow and all this other performative bullshit, that you took the time to set up a camera so you could record yourself doing whatever stupid activity is you claim is how you cope with the stress of fucking being an adult. It's fucking pathetic. I mean, and then the more information that comes out about this shit, they're trying to act like her defense attorney's a saint. He's a guy doing a fucking job. He's not doing it because he believes in her or anything else. And if he does, he's a piece of shit too. But at the end of the day, he's doing a job. He's collecting a check. It's his job to try and keep his client from going to prison for the horrific shit she did. Great, whatever. They're basically acting like, oh, he's her best friend now, and he's loving and supportive, and he believes her. And Then we've got these dumb bitches coming out of the woodwork on social media saying things like, well, it makes perfect sense because I think her husband actually killed the kids because she's a Leo and Leos don't kill their cubs. And he's a Gemini. Geminis are all killers and two-faced bastards. And like every retarded cunt out there that refers to astrology and why she's defending this bitch should immediately lose the right to fucking vote. The fact that, I mean, I've said it before, I usually say it in jest, but I'm really at the point where I'm like, fucking repeal the 19th. These dumb cunts are going to destroy the society we live in, and they vote. And their vote counts just as much as mine does, and that pisses me off. Because stupid cunts think locations of balls of fire in the sky are the reason this bitch is innocent. And they're not saying this shit ironically or, you know, with anything other than the utmost conviction because they're retarded cunts and they get to vote and their vote counts just as much as mine. And I don't agree with that. I'm not okay with that. These retarded bitches are literally pushing me into a stage of misogyny I never thought I'd embrace. But goddamn, does it feel right sometimes? And I know there's some good women out there. There's some women who don't have their heads wedged firmly in their rectums. Most of the women I associate with on a regular basis are not amongst that crowd. Howsoever, it's really hard for me to be sympathetic when there are so many of these just horrific, vapid bitches and that are going along with whatever their social media selection tells them to go along with, whoever they should believe it, whatever influencers got them saying, oh, well, you know, if you look at their star charts, it's obvious her husband's the killer. Her husband didn't jump out a fucking window. And then people are saying things like, oh, well, it's super convenient that their security cameras were down because the Wi-Fi was out, so there's no recordings of what happened at the time. It's so convenient for him because he obviously staged the whole thing and he over-medicated her because obviously he choked the kids out and then threw her out the window to cover his tracks. Well, here's the thing about that. There's a lot of factors that really make that not hold water to me, not the least of which being it's fucking stupid and it's coming from assholes that are using star charts as their fucking validation for their opinions, which should automatically disqualify you from being taken as a serious adult in any way, shape, or form. So, foregoing that entire section of the conversation for a minute, this guy transitioned his job to work more remote so he could help with the kids. He hired a nanny for his wife to help with the kids. It's not like she was some overwhelmed mother that just wasn't getting any support or any backup or anything at all, and she couldn't deal with it anymore, and she finally just reached her breaking point and snapped. She was a horrific fucking narcissistic cunt from the jump. When she came to in the hospital, she didn't ask about the kids. She didn't say anything about, oh my God, what have I done, or anything else like that. Her first questions were, how am I, and should I get a lawyer? Those are not the actions of somebody who had a psychotic break and just made an oopsie doopsie and needs to be forgiven and given a second chance. Those are the actions of someone who knows they fucked up, isn't sure how bad they fucked themselves up in the execution of their fucking plan, and now is worried about saving their own ass. It's deplorable. And the fucking vapid twats that are out there saying that this is, you know, it's a conspiracy. He framed her. It's convenient for him that the cameras went out. No, actually, it's massively fucking inconvenient for him because every vapid fucking cunt, box wine, internet sleuth out here, true crime listening to pieces of shit are going to say, oh, look at this. Here's all the facts. This is why I think he did it. And meanwhile, the truth just goes by the wayside, and there's still 3 dead kids. And they're like, oh, well, he wasn't emotional enough when he found the kids and called 911. I hate to break this to you wine-drunk cunts. Not everyone's reaction to adversity or trauma or bad things happening is hysterics. That's really not how guys process shit. They get shit done. They get the necessary shit done. They bottle up all their rage, their anger, their fear, their sadness, and then they have a fucking ulcer and die of a heart attack at 52. That's how guys handle things. I don't expect these moronic bitches to understand that because they're fucking stupid. But realistically, that's why I'm not surprised he wasn't freaking out and screaming into the phone when he called 911. That's just not how most guys are hardwired. Now, granted, most of these bitches are probably used to dealing with low testosterone, beta cuck fucks. But at the end of the day, it's just it's the facts of the way things are. Men are more analytical in emergency situations. We're more logical. Our default tends to be address the situation, get shit fixed, and have your emotions later when they're not going to interfere with making sure the situation's addressed. It's there are case studies of it throughout fucking history. It's just the way things are. Now, these are people that are probably not real grounded in reality because, again, star charts. Fucking star charts. That's what I keep coming back to. Yeah, oh, well, no, she couldn't have done it. She's a Leo. You're a fucking retard. Oh, well, he was born the same day as Trump. Obviously, he's a bad guy. You're an idiot. You shouldn't be allowed to vote. You shouldn't be allowed to breed. Thankfully, most of these broads are also the type that are like, abortion right up to fucking gestation because they are sympathizing with somebody who killed actual toddlers. So obviously, they're probably not breeding anyway. And thank God for small fucking favors because none of these miserable cunts would be good parents. They're all just horrific pieces of shit. And that's really all I have to say on the matter. I know a lot of people have talked about this. I mean, they talked about it on the Boomer Bunker yesterday. It's going to be coming up here, there, and everywhere else over the course of a little while coming. I haven't listened to the Razor Wire from this week yet, and honestly, I fell asleep shortly after the episode started. Nothing against Razor Wire, but during the live recording of it this week, I was extremely tired, and it caught up with me, and unfortunately, I knocked out like right after the show started. So I still have to go back and listen to that. So they may have addressed it over the weekend too, but these are just my thoughts on the matter. And I hear, a lot of people and people who I generally usually agree with on things talking about, well, maybe it's the pharma companies, maybe it's the drug companies, maybe she didn't really know what was going on, maybe she had a legitimate snap, maybe she had a legitimate psychotic break. Now, never mind the fact that the forensic psychologist says there's nothing in her behavior or her actions before or since that lends that credence, any credence to that fucking theory. The professional medical experts have said that's not the case, but, the internet wants to do what the internet wants to do, and it's going to do it regardless of how I feel about things. So, it is what it is. But when the experts are saying, nah, that's not the case, I don't care how many fucking box of wine true crime sleuths say differently. Fuck y'all. You ain't special. And I don't like you. But, sorry, I'm going off on a tear here. I've actually had a kind of day that's put me in a bit of a mood. And I'm grumpy about things. And, again, these just vapid retard bitches are infuriating me. They make me sick. And they're, now we're seeing posts of things like, oh, well, this guy called off his wedding because his fiance supported, Lindsay what's-her-tits. And I say, you know what? Good for him. He dodged a fucking bullet because she'd probably be a horrific fucking mother. So, anybody that's supporting somebody, oh, well, I can understand exactly why she snapped because, dealing with kids is so fucking hard. You know what? It's been hard for forever. And up until 2026, a mother killing her children was a horrific fucking thing. But no, now these dumb bitches are trying to normalize this shit and say it's not her fault and she's innocent and blah, 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 blah. And I pretty much guarantee anybody who's saying that shit is because they, in their mind, can see themselves doing that exact same thing because they're horrific people too. And they should not be allowed to breed or to, vote or really open their mouths in public. I'm at the point where I'm so tired of these fucking retards. And it's not just women that I think are stupid. I don't want to give the wrong impression. It's this select group of bunch of fucking women that should be fucking, I just can't stand this shit. It's the same as these dumb, Queers for Palestine people and everybody else who seems to think their retarded ideology is going to somehow make the world a better place when it literally denies every fact on the fucking planet. I'm fed up with stupid people. Left wing, right wing, I don't care. If you're fucking stupid, I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't respect you. I don't care what you have to say. You can say whatever you want about me because I don't value your opinion enough for it to have any fucking impact on how I'm going to live my day to day. I go out, I do my job well. I come home, I take care of my family. I try to take care of my family as well as I fucking am capable of. And that's what I do. It's what you're supposed to do. It's what gets things fucking done. And that's the long and the short of it. That's the way it is. That's how things work. And yeah. So anyway, that's really all I have to say on the matter. Again, what she did was horrific. I cannot in any way, shape, or form overstate how I feel about that. It was literally one of the most reprehensible things I can imagine is a mother strangling her own children and slowly and painfully dying. The medical examiner said they felt pain. They said two of them watched their siblings die, and the third one died knowing that their mother, who was supposed to be the one that protects them from the bad things in the world, is doing the bad things in the world to them. And in court, during the autopsy, I mean, this bitch, like I said, this bitch has shown no remorse. She's shown no kind of regret. And she didn't break down into tears during the reading of the autopsies in court, but she said, I can't do this anymore. It's never been about the kids. With her, it's only about her. The only thing that matters to her is her. She's selfish. She's a horrible human being. She's garbage. And anybody that's coming to her defense pretty much falls under those same criteria as far as I'm concerned. Selfish, horrific, garbage human beings. I don't have any sympathy for them. I don't care for them. They're all fucking stupid and they all suck. Sorry, I'm hydrating. So that's kind of the big thing I really want to piss and moan about at the moment is, like I said, the crime in and of itself was horrible. The morons supporting it is what's got me pissed off. It's bad enough that this broad did this shit, but the fact that legions of smooth-brained, slack-jawed, retard feminist, pseudo-feminist, just... my body, my choice crowd comes out and says, well, it's her body and these kids' bodies, it's not her fault. I mean, anybody excusing or trying to equivocate for this bitch, you're a garbage human being. I have no sympathy for you. And that's, full stop. That's the end of the conversation. Now, there's been a couple other things, the DSA is still doing DSA things. They're still electing, commie Islamists are trying to around the country. The guy in Michigan who's sitting there saying, well, he got called out because he basically said that he supports Sharia law, and now he's trying to backpedal on it. Hassan Piker's getting called out for a bunch of the shit he's saying, and the guy in Michigan is trying to distance himself from it, saying, well, he doesn't speak for my campaign. He's just one of the supporters, but he hasn't come out and actually condemned anything Piker said, because Piker's a fucking jagoff, and he's one of the most un-American. He has all the arguments you need against birthright citizenship balled up in one little fucking worthless, hateful package. So, that he's also a garbage human being. And, but yeah, I don't really have a lot behind that other than it's just something that kind of came across the radar. And I'm actually kind of thrown off my game a little bit because I found out as I was on my way home that it's a very sad news, but Dolly Parton passed away today. And, it sucks. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I'm horribly heartbroken by it, but a lot of people are. And in a lot of cases, it's actually really understandable. And not for nothing, but she was actually a really decent human being. I mean, she came from nothing, super talented, great voice, beautiful woman, all this other stuff, leaned into it, great sense of humor, great personality, gave away literally hundreds of millions of dollars of her money that she made via her career to help other people, built schools in the poorest parts of her home area in East Tennessee, where she was from, where she grew up, and in the foothills of the mountains and stuff. Gave away free books to poor families through her Imagine Library program. Just genuinely good person. Gave millions of dollars that she matched throughout, like when the tornado or hurricane fucked up North Carolina a few years ago and FEMA wasn't doing shit. Dolly wrote a check for $1 million and matched it from each of her businesses. So she donated like $4 million to North Carolina to help with flood relief. Didn't make a big spectacle about it, didn't tell anybody about it, didn't do anything about it. Just here's a check to organizations to help make sure people had food and water and took care of people's. Over the course of her life, she gave away over $330 million in charitable gifts to people. Never asked for anything back. When there were tornadoes and fires and natural disasters all around the country, and she just, didn't do it for attention. No press releases, no, hey, look at how pious I'm being with my money. Quietly went out and took care of people. She set up, back in the 80s, she went to, the local schools in her hometown region and went to the school kids and said, okay, everybody partner up. Everybody get a buddy. If both of you graduate, I'll give each one of you $500. Now, this is $500 in 1980 money. This is a lot of fucking money. And, so she told all these kids, if you graduate, you both graduate, you each get $500. If one of you fails, neither one of you gets anything. That makes you accountable to each other, and you're going to work together, and you're going to graduate. The dropout rate and the failure rate went from like 36% to 6% because of Dolly's direct interaction with these kids, keeping them in school, giving them a vested reason to go through with their educations. When the area was hit by tornadoes and fires, she went through and gave money to families that were, $1,000 a month to a bunch of families. And then when she actually fundraised more money than she planned on, she took the extra money from the fundraising and she went and she gave every family another $5,000. And this is all after the media's moved on, after the next big story broke. She was a genuinely good person in a lot of ways. And it's a shame that she died. I mean, it's like I said, again, I'm not personally distraught by it. I know a lot of people are. I know she impacted a lot of people's lives way more than I ever will. She's done so much good for so many people without asking for jack shit in return, just because she was grateful for the fact that she got where she was. She was a good person. She was a genuine person. She cared about people. She treated everybody like she'd known them forever, every time. Based on literally everything I've ever read about her interacting with people, she always treated everybody like they'd been friends forever. So, it's a shame that we don't have more people like her in the world, and now we got one less, and that's a fucking pity. And of course, you're going to have all these fucking miserable bastards out there saying, oh, well, she's a celebrity. She would have, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Fuck you. It's just because other people are feeling something you obviously can't because you have a void in your fucking soul doesn't mean you have a right to go out and shit in people's cornflakes because you're a miserable fucking prick. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It's a sad state for the world's a little darker today. I mean, I know my wife likes Dolly Parton music. I can kind of take it or leave it, but I always did kind of wonder what did Jolene have going on because, Prime Dolly was goddamn. So, I mean, Jolene must have been pretty bad. Now, I know the real story behind the song Jolene, and Shauna will, has told me more than once because she knows little bits of trivia about pretty much fucking everything. And she told me that Jolene was actually written because Dolly met a little girl whose name was Jolene. And she said, that's a really pretty name. I'm going to write a song about it. So there was no actual Jolene that Dolly was worried about swiping her man, but still, it's a cool story. It's a good song, and yeah, so that's kind of shitty. And Dolly, get down. Sorry, the dog's climbing on me. Yeah, so let's see. I mean, there's like nobody in the chat tonight, and I really don't have a lot in the tank or on deck. I guess. The usual messages kind of stand in place. Spice Blend stuff, we're getting ready to launch fulfillment this weekend. All the packages should be going out Saturday, I hope. I'm kind of waiting till the last minute, still trying to hopefully the proper labeling will show up. If not, I'm just going to have to run a bunch of stuff out of that super expensive printer I got sitting over there. So, I mean, the labels will still be high quality. They just won't be the actual proper vinyl ones. It'll be done on a photo quality color laser printer instead of the ones I paid for. So anyway, I actually haven't paid for them yet. I don't have to pay till they're delivered, but that's how the sausage is made, and nobody should really care. But since the viewer count's been oscillating back and forth between 2 and 3, and I'm assuming one of those is Shauna. And there's nobody talking in the chat, so I really don't have too much distracting there, so I don't really have much else to go into. So I guess we're going to dive into the recipe, because, like I said, I don't have a good rant really loaded up. I've already talked as much as I can about those fucking broads that are defending a murderous piece of shit, so I don't want to dwell on it too much, actually. Believe it or not, it's just, I feel like I've already talked about it as much as I can without just devolving into incoherent, coming back to the same points over and over again. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's not all women, but it's always a fucking woman. I don't know what else to say. I can't think of any men that are going to go out there like, oh no, she's innocent because this astrology chart says she is. I keep coming back to that part. I'm so hung up on how fucking stupid that is, but it's neither here nor there. It is what it is. There are stupid people of both genders out there. I've said it repeatedly. I hate morons. I hate all of them. I believe there should be an IQ test before you're allowed to vote, because some people are legitimately too stupid to fucking... I don't know how some people remember to breathe. But, that would never happen, because then the politicians would actually have to be accountable. Anyway, so we're going to do the recipe for today. It's coming once again from the Bethel Friends Favorite Cookbook from the Ladies' Aid of Bethel and Village Evangelical Free Church in Washington Island, Wisconsin. Published in 1973. And so it's another good cookbook. And an update, I will be probably trying to make Oreolio this weekend to see how it goes. I'm starting to lean away from the idea of making it with too much fat, because if I make it with too much fat, it won't be able to freeze dry it, because the popular consensus is that it'll be grainy. I don't know if it will or not, but we're going to find out. Anyway, so I picked a recipe out of here. This may not necessarily be everybody's cup of tea, but it's something I like. And that's how this fucking works, is you get what I like. So this is actually a rhubarb tort. That's why I say it's not something everybody likes. A lot of people don't like rhubarb. I like rhubarb. I grew up liking rhubarb. My dad liked rhubarb, so I like rhubarb, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so again, this is a rhubarb tort from by Miss Lois Tree of Racine, Wisconsin. So to make the crust, you blend together 1.5 cups of sifted flour, 7.5 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar, and 3/4 cup of butter or margarine. Use butter. Margarine is the devil. Hydrogenated oil is bad for you. So you're going to mix those three things together. You're going to press that mixture into a greased 9 by 13 inch pan and bake it at a 350 degree oven for 15 minutes. It should just get to be a little bit golden brown. Then you take it out of the pan. Now for the topping, you're going to mix together 3 beaten eggs, 3 cups of finely chopped rhubarb, and you're going to sift together 2 1/4 cups of sugar, 1/3 cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Now you're going to mix together your egg, sugar, flour, salt, and rhubarb, and mix it together and spoon it over your par-baked crust and bake it for approximately 35 minutes or until it is golden brown, and serve it topped with whipped cream. So yeah, that's the recipe for today. Rhubarb tart. Or tort. It's really not a tort, but I mean, whatever. I mean, that's how they named it in the 70s. I don't know what to tell you. I like I said, I love old cookbooks. I love the stuff from the back in the day, harkening back to yesteryear. And I mean, sometimes the terminology is wrong, because a lot of these recipes were handed down from family to family, and they were called wrong for generations, and they're still called wrong today. But anyway, so again, since I don't see anything in the chat, I'm just going to assume nobody has anything to say out of the 2 people watching the live stream right now. So that's all I got. 33 minutes into this show. I don't really have much else to say at the moment. It's been, it's not that it's been a slow news week, but it's just, I'm kind of, I don't really have anything on deck, as it were. I don't necessarily, I mean, like I said, there's been stuff. Trump's talking about, annexing the Strait of Hormuz and making it an American territory, which I don't see how that could work, but, whatever. He wants to do that. Who's going to stop him? I mean, we're America. We do what we want. Whatever. I do what I want. And do I think it's a good idea? Not necessarily, to be honest. I really don't. I don't think it's probably all that bright. And I don't really, I mean, we'd have to have military permanently over in that area to enforce it, which I'm not okay with. One of the reasons why I was kind of pro-Donald before he got into office this time. Not the first time. The first time I thought it was a fucking disgrace. And I really wasn't a fan of his first run in office, but he ran on a lot of things. I thought he learned from his mistakes, and then he got into DC and proved that to be utter horseshit. So, I mean, is he better than the alternative? I still stand by my statement that yes, the fuck he is. I think the world would be burning if Camel Toe had gotten elected, and I stand by that statement. It's not going to change. It's not a case of You know, do I think, you know, do I regret my vote? Not in the fucking slightest. Do I
still stand by
do
my
I
statement. that
think
yes,
it's a good thing? No, also, not in the fucking slightest. It's okay. Okay, well now I see. Okay, I don't know why the chat's not coming through to my chat window over here. I did open up YouTube just to see who was there, and it looks like Shauna and Kate. So hi Kate, if you're still here. Hi Shauna. Yeah, she was making comments while I was talking about there. Yeah, I'm not nice. You should know that. You're married to me. Lindsay Clancy is the broad's name. The astrology, I don't know what's with it. Like I said, it's what these stupid bitches are trying to use to excuse what's going on, and that disgusts me. Anyway, yeah, that's like I said, that's really all I got right now. The dog's starting to bark at me, so I'm assuming that she wants something. And you know, I don't know if anybody's commenting on X. I can't see it. That's for sure. Yeah, so I think actually I'm going to stick a pin in it and say for now that's what I had to say. Dolly, stop.